be the same. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah. Let's make some changes!
Incredible. I'm just like blown away.
Born in Watts, Assemblymember Gipson was elected in November 2014 to represent California's 64th Assembly District. That includes the communities of Carson, Compton, Gardenia, Harbor Gateway, Linwood, North Long Beach, Rancho Dominguez, South Los Angeles, Torrance, Watts, Willowbrook, and Wilmington. There's a lot.
Assemblymember Gipson currently serves as Assembly Democratic Caucus Chair, responsible for driving the legislative decision-making process for the Majority Caucus, address statewide issues, and hold weekly meetings to discuss and set the caucus's priorities. Mr. Gipson was appointed in 2016 and reappointed in 2017 by Speaker Anthony Rendon to his leadership position. So thank you so much for coming. Both of our classes signed this for you as a token of our appreciation. So you can look at that there. There you go. Thank you so much.
Without further ado, Assemblymember Gipson.
I'm speechless. Out of all the accolades that I've received since I've been elected, Dr. Beers, I can find it nowhere that I've ever received the kind of not only welcome, the kind of response that I've received here today. Some people think that leadership is glamorous and glitz and all those kinds of things, which it has its place in time, but also it has a place in time where you feel wounded, you feel helpless. Sometimes you feel like throwing in a towel. And everything that we're going through as a country, as a state, as Americans, is troubling to me. But I have received a renewing in my spirit just this moment by seeing each and every one of you in this room. You lifted me higher than I don't think anyone else could today. I appreciate each and every one of you for allowing me to stand on your shoulders today to make it possible for tomorrow. It makes me feel so good to have been born in this community. That's right. Yeah. In Watts. To come back home and serve this community, it's amazing beyond measure for me. Because my job is not just the title of an assembly member and all the accolades that go along with it, but it's really about the people that I serve. It's about making sure that they're uplifted each and every day. It's making sure that they have the audacity to hope and to dream that even though we go through things today, that tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday. Your life begins to end the moment you start being silent about the things that matter. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. We will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the victorious words and action of the bad people, but of the appalling silence of the good people. There comes a time that silence is a form of betrayal.
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I represent 500,000 people. I hope to be able to touch as many of the 500,000 people that I possibly can while in this office. I represent the 6th poorest district in the entire state of California. If you turn on the news, something may be going on in Los Angeles area, chances are it's taking place right here in my district. Where people, when I was elected, the unemployment rate was 11.9% interest. 11.9% unemployment rate. Today it stands at 6.1% unemployment. One may say, well, that's a major accomplishment. I would simply say my work is still not done. The work that each and every one of you are doing, I want to commend you, because you're going to be the ambassadors of hope. Not only hope, but also change. Because you are going to, once you achieve this goal, it's going to cause an awakening in your spirit to simply say this is more than just a job. Because you're going to come up against people, individuals, who are at their last straw. And you are going to be the only person that will give them the hope that they need by providing the experience, the skill set that you are now being prepared to do to help this community. Remember, they tried to do away with the Affordable Care Act that some people call Obamacare. Well, we defeated them to make sure they didn't have enough votes. So they decided to put it into this tax plan, cutting Medicaid and Medi-Cal. That's going to hurt the most vulnerable individuals in our community. The individuals that you will one day have to treat and take care of, they want to hurt those individuals. That's criminal. That's wrong. We have doctors who know someone who's living a high-risk lifestyle, but yet will refuse to give them the most latest information that's on the market so that they can live a long, prosperous life. And so I had to create a bill that forces doctors to do that work. To make sure that you don't just release a patient who's living a high-risk lifestyle out the door and not give them information. Now it's the law you have, it's the law of California that will mandate you to follow the law, to give that male or female information about PrEP and PEP so they can be treated. And so when we talk about the work that you're doing, each one of you are ambassadors of hope, that you understand your why. Your why is your purpose. Your why is what gets you out of bed each and every day when you don't feel like it. Your why generates the kind of energy that you need to hit those books, even though your eyes are tired, even though your hands are cramping up because you're writing so much. Your why is going to continue to push you to that next dimension, to that next level. And then when you graduate, then you will start to see all that you have worked and labored for is not in vain. It's purposeful and it's meaningful. Not only just for you, not only just for your families, but for every person that you come in contact with, for every child that you come in contact with, for every mother and father that you come in contact with, you will be prepared to touch their lives in a most profound and dynamic way. This certificate of recognition is presented to Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science, Physician Assistance Program, on behalf of the California State Assembly, thank you for your leadership and your commitment to advocating for health and improving the quality of life of those in your community and the residents of the 64th State Assembly District. Your commitment, you are to be commended. You're demonstrating your selfless dedication is to be commended. This day, December the 7th, 2017, signed by Mike Gipson, but let's not get it twisted, is given on behalf of the 500,000 people that I am so honored and blessed to represent in the California State Assembly.
All right, Mike.
Are there any questions you have for me? Yes.
What
Can
are
I
some of
find
the-
out your name is?
Sorry, my name is Esther,
Yes, sir.
and first I want to say thank you for coming today. And I want to ask about what are some of the current things that you're working on for this community that you hope to see in the near future?
I kind of said it earlier, and that is that creating jobs, everyone, that man or woman that wants a job, then it's a job made available to them. Issues around healthcare, access to healthcare, affordable healthcare. There's some work that we need to do in the space of affordable drugs. I have health disparities in this district. I have food deserts in this district where we have fast foods that are not conducive and healthy, and we have very few healthy choices. So I want to work closely with cities to try to create farmers markets, restaurants that grow their own fruits and vegetables and bring it to the table so that people can eat it. It's important because in this community we have an alarming amount of individuals, African Americans and also Latinos, when it comes down to not only heart disease but also diabetes, which is growing rapid. And so we have to talk about how do we in this community begin to create some choices for people so they can reduce weight, but also incorporate exercise and live a whole, long, prosperous life like they were meant to live. We will have, when we get back to Sacramento, talk about single payer, trying to address some issues there around single payer or universal health care, but making sure whatever happens in Washington, D.C., that we can protect as many of the million people in California. And those are the individuals who are mostly underserved, live in disadvantaged communities. And so we'll continue to work in this space. For this legislative body, have done some cutting-edge work around healthcare, around wages, things of that nature. So that's some of the stuff, and also around HIV and AIDS. It's very important to me that we do everything we can in this space. Thank you for your question. Yes. What's your name?
My name is Danielle.
Danielle.
So my question is regarding, so when we see something as students or after we're done, we're working in the field, we see something that's just not right, this is just wrong. What's the best way to go about making a change? Should we go through contact our state PAC and go to the PAC, or should we do petitions or letters? What's the best way?
Well, one, never be accused of being guilty or remaining silent. Two, when I worked for SEIU, Service Employees International Union, and I was a statewide political director for a healthcare local that represented Kaiser nurses, we wrote legislation about whistleblower protection. And so, specifically for healthcare professionals, we have whistleblower protection, we have whistleblower process set up. And so I would certainly encourage, if you see something that is wrong, that jeopardizes patient care, that you exercise that, because that's important, especially when it comes down to patient care. So I would, again, strongly encourage you to utilize those mechanisms that's in place that is, in fact, part of California's law. Yes. Hey.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. I'm
Good
good.
to see you.
Thank you for such a motivational talk. It's always great to hear that from you. But my question is along the lines of cross-sector collaboration. So we're learning that, you know, these coalitions and this work across different sectors has been really effective in advocacy work. What are your suggestions in bringing together collaborations between academic institutions and like government offices? How does that work?
I think it's very important. As a matter of fact, it was a timely question because I just met in my office today with the superintendent of Compton Unified School District to talk about some concerns that I have in the school district and pledge my support and my collaboration with him in order to make it better, to make it tighter, because I told him failure is not an option. It's not an option. The collaboration needs to begin, especially when you identify the need. Same way at the school that I have concerns with, the superintendent of Compton. I said I'm going to have a meet with the principal at that school that you put there, but I'm also going to meet with the faculty. Because what you're telling me, I have no reason to doubt you, but I want to hear from the faculty as well. Because that's where the rubber really meets the road. And that's where I want to be able to be engaged. And from there, to come back to them and say, I understand this, we need to fix this, and we need to fix this now. Because I don't want kids to be uneducated.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi.
What's your name?
Lindsay. I'm
Liz.
the associate director for the program. But how do we get involved in the legislative process? We want to be involved in helping make these changes, but we don't know where to start. And so if we're interested, where do we even begin to learn about the process, to get involved, to learn what issues we can help with?
Well, I think the first step is inviting me here. Then two is, one, because I hear the need, is to, one, press upon you to understand I don't have a corner of all the great ideas. Sorry. Most of my bill ideas come from the community. And so if you have an ideal, it can be health related or not, then we invite you to correspond with me so that I can shoot it to Sacramento to my legislative team so they can look at the language with the legislative office or the Ledge Council and see if there's not a bill, see how we can, it doesn't interfere with constitutionality, law, and see how we can make that become a law in California if there's a need, right? Your advocacy by communicating with me as a state representative or a member of Congress or your city council member, it just doesn't stop with me, it's you being engaged so that they will know who you are, so they will know about your ideals, that you're advocating on behalf of something that benefits the people that we serve. That's how the collaboration works. It's you identifying who your city council member is. It's you emailing them to introduce yourself. It's you doing the same thing for your county board of supervisors, member of Congress, your assembly member and state senator. I don't think that'll leave anybody out. Mayor. Say, hey, my name is Mike Gipson. I live blah, blah, blah. I'm one of your residents, your community. I just want you to say, this is who I am. This is what I'm studying. I don't want you to contact me because I'm going to continue to contact you. And then also, they love when I do this. Would you please respond to me within 5 working days that you received this? And let them acknowledge that they've received it. They took time to read it. Because if they get down to the last paragraph, please, respond to me in 5 days, you received it, then you know they read it, right?
Start doing that.
And you start doing that, right? That's how you engage them, to let them know that you are significant, you are important, You are a major stakeholder in this community, and you care enough that you're reaching out to the policymakers. So it's important that you have contact, and don't hesitate to say, you know what, can you please come here? We want to meet you, we want to see you, we want to touch you. And if you're good, you may have somebody singing to you or walking down. So thank you. Thank you. Dr. Z.
One thing I can say is that you've always been a champion for the people. And what I've heard is from the very day I met you, and it's about dealing with bullets. I'm going to use that because that's the term being coined now. I call them assholes. And it's unfortunate that bureaucracies have become assholes. And I'm listening to everyone here. How do I do this? How do I form the complaint? How do I act? Well, one of the things is you can't be silent. Now, that was the most powerful thing I heard tonight, is you can't be silent. People are so intimidated behind losing their jobs and what have you. They will sit and take that go when and you're giving up your power. I'm not going down that way. I know how to use power.
And you have.
Yes, I have. Because I remember a young man before he was married, right on the corner of Vermont and Florence, advocated by the name of Mike Gipson, along with Karen Bass and Ronald Beavers and Peggy Toy, and had a horse out there, and we were advocating for policy about changing tobacco policies for health disparities.
Right.
I remember that. You know how long ago that was? 25 years. And you have never given up your ideology and your philosophy.
Thank you.
One of the things that I'm really seeing here, and I just love this part, is that you can deal on all levels, from the state senate to the assembly, but you're not as scared to hit the sidewalks of Washington and listen to what others got to say to you, sir. That is the most powerful thing that anyone in positions can do. Just don't be afraid to walk where you serve. We have bureaucracy people and folks and institutions that are scared to come out of their powers and hit the sidewalks. And the only thing they get is hire a damn consulting team to tell them what they need to do. And all they got to do is get off their ass and hit the sidewalk.
And let me say, certainly Dr. Ronald Beavers has been someone who has spoken truth to power. As a result of that, as much as that power has pushed, he has remained faithful and vigilant to what he believed in. And as a result of that, the change came. Sometimes change is slow, but change will come. And so I want to thank you very much for that, for just, one, again, being the David against the Goliath. And believe me, sometimes it may not seem like it'll pay off, but if you hang in there, right, it absolutely will. And if it doesn't, then you call me. And we'll work it out together. Speaking truth to power. Not retreating, but advancing on what you believe in and staying true to you. That is important. You've been amazing. Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you.
And we just wanted to say thank you to you. I know they rearranged, I don't know if you know this, but they also rearranged your schedule to get you here, and I know we weren't on your schedule initially, but I kept emailing and emailing. I didn't get there, but then I just told thank you, Diana, and thank you so much. We're really blessed to have you as our assembly member and as part of our CDU PA family, so thank you so much. We really appreciate you. and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you so much.